Bitcoin has woken up over the course of the last week, up almost 10% on the week. And today I'm going to go over the entire market. I've been out in Asia, in Singapore for token 2049, absorbing all the alpha because gaming in Asia is far more advanced than where we are in the Western world. And I think it gives me a lot of conviction on the narratives that we are so focused on and dialed in on, which is obviously crypto gaming. So I'm going to go over some of the key updates, some of the things that I've been hearing around Asia as I'm about to wrap up my trip. I'll be back at my home setup here very soon, so we are still traveling, but I'm going to go over everything that I've heard this week as well as the market, because I think the time is now. We're heading into that Q4 election season pump. The market's moving fast and you need to be prepared. So let's jump into it, guys. Like the video down below if you enjoy the content, and subscribe. We're about to be back on regularly scheduled programming every week here on In the Game, 3 to 4 videos to have you well equipped for this bull market. As well, quick shout out to our sponsors down below in the description. We have Moon Tropica, Universe, On Me. We have NordVPN, as well as all of our exchange partners, Blowfin, etc. You can check those out in the links down below in the description. And I want to give a big shout out quickly to Moon Tropica. As Moon Tropica, they have their closed beta access, which is coming up very soon. They've been expanding as far as characters and the team and the amount of maps, abilities, etc. The project is now unimmutable, and they're partnered up with Beam and Super. Hash AI did this highlight on them over the last couple of days, and it really is awesome. Like, the game here is just one of the best that I've ever played in Web3. And if we go look at the watch list, I'm pretty sure that Moon Tropica has been performing quite well. Yeah, up 20% on the 7 days. So when the market moves, usually the 𝗂 token does move. So shout out to the 𝗂 community over there, and Moon Tropica, as always, one of our best sponsors and one of our longest standing sponsors. So a big shout out to Moon Tropica. Let's jump into it now. I have been out in Asia. Like I said, I've been doing some speeches. I've been, running around just trying to meet up with different projects, developers, and stuff like that. And the one thing I can tell you is the crypto gaming space is way closer than we think. The developments, the big funds, big entities over in Asia that are getting involved. We always hear about like the Zyngas and whenever these big devs from past companies get involved over here in the Western world, but in the Asian sector, we don't really hear the adoption in like Korea, for example, for Web3 gaming and crypto games are light years ahead of what we have in the Western world. And it does give me conviction that crypto gaming is going to be one of the biggest mechanisms and sectors this cycle. And we see Easy here says his major takeaways from the crypto conference in Singapore is everyone is going mobile first. This rings true. We have stuff like Photo Finish Game, which is real money racing game, which is now approved by Apple. So this is coming to the App Store, and this is Crown. So if we go look also at the 7-day charts, I believe Crown has been performing quite nicely. If I can find it here, Crown is up 22% this week, so a nice little boost in price there, and they are coming to the App Store. We have King of Destiny, which just crossed 1 million downloads on the App Store. The mobile sector with Ton Station Games, I actually met with the founders here. A lot of people always ask, how do these Ton games make money? I actually got a glimpse at the revenue numbers behind this. I was blown away. Ton Station Games, 9 million users, about to eclipse 10 million, but they're making money in revenue day after day, month after month, which is really what it's all about. All these games that go under, they don't have a way to make revenue. So as much as like the user doesn't like to hear about, oh, does a game make money? I don't really know about how much a game makes off their players. It's really not even that. You want to bank on a team that's making revenue because that's going to help them sustain the project long term. So I think it's something we really need to focus on, not even just total user counts, but how much money is the project generating. And we have Ton Station with 9 million users. This is on the Telegram narrative, and they are printing as far as the revenue on this ecosystem, which is very important to note. We have gaming, which he thinks is the easiest Trojan horse, no pun intended, because easy. And by the way, follow Easy Eats if you haven't already. He's a great friend of mine and one of the leaders in the space, especially in the Solana narratives. Gaming is the easiest Trojan horse. I mean, it absolutely is, like the gaming sector, when we take a look at it, either you have played video games in your life, either your kid has, or someone you know, and they ask for the credit card to go buy a microtransaction. But whenever they buy a microtransaction in a normal game, it equates to nothing. So gaming is easy. it breaks through, and ownership of your assets just makes sense. Look at CSGO. CSGO is one of the only ones with a mainstream marketplace that allows you to trade your assets, and they've been crushing it for literally decades at a time. Meme coin super cycle, very real. I agree with this one as well. The amount of focus on memes right now out in these conferences is heavy, and I don't see memes going away. I think pump fun itself will die down a little bit. I think people are going to start flocking to the stuff that's been around for a while. Pepe, Bonk, Mog, Brett, those types of memes, I think are still going to have huge runs this cycle. But I agree here that the meme coin super cycle is still very well in effect. And he says the bull market hasn't started, and that's what we're talking about today. You know, on your to-do list, Belmar tweets here, retire my entire bloodline this bull run. You should be hyper-focused right now. Heading into Q4, I think we're about to have a really good, really frothy potential end of the year, and we're seeing it. Like, gaming coins are waking up. We, first of all, have Citus up 33%, Mavia 33%, Mog up 33%, Senate up 37%, Balance AI up 59% off of its lows. We have Carrot up 43% on the day. So gaming is certainly waking up. And some of the big things that I've been hearing out in Asia specifically, we have Superverse, who, I mean, their plans, I sat down with Elio, we had multiple good conversations, and just got really just mastermind the future of the gaming space and what's to come for Super. And I'm beyond excited to see the developments coming through whenever these come live, because this ecosystem of games and partners that he has been building out all leads to a bigger vision. So big shout out to Super. And I mean, the Super price action, if we go look here, Super was a big convo. Most people that I talk to when I'm asking, you know, what projects are you the most bullish on right now? Most people were talking Super. And still at a $460 million market cap, I think Super goes $5-10 easy this cycle. So I'm looking at Super to continue its growth. We have Echelon Prime. Echelon Prime, they had some big announcements, and their price action has reflected it. You know, they're up 24% this month because they announced that Colony comes out alpha Q1 2025. And then we see Sam Stefanina previewing the gameplay here of their new PvPvE extraction game. So a 3v3, you know, kind of shooter extraction type of game. And this comes off the heels of people losing conviction and stuff like a Shrapnel. You know, Shrapnel's kind of going through some turmoil. There could be an extraction and Dead Drop also, obviously, with the Dr. Disrespect drama. But I think that this has a really good chance to break through. Parallel's so well funded to make a game like this and really capitalize on the things that other projects have done wrong. So I do think that Parallel, based on talking to people out in Asia even, is one of the more popular projects to continue its run this cycle. Moving down the ladder a little bit as far as market caps go, yeah, Crown had a huge presence. I just talked about their app going to the mobile store, as well as Wilder World. Wilder World up 12% this week at about a $68 million market cap. I got to sit down with this team and actually be able to, it might blast real quick. All right, there we go. So I was able to sit down with their team in a little private session. I was the first person to be able to play the first-person shooter outside of their team. And then also, I was the first person that got to see the glimpse of the full open world. As you can see here, I'm talking to the team and diving into the game. It was amazing. The graphics are top-notch, the movement, the gunplay, and then you look at the scope of the open world. I mean, the map is leaps and bounds bigger than the Grand Theft Auto map. These guys are so well positioned to take over the metaverse narrative. Like, is the metaverse dead? I would say no. I really do think that Wilder World has the best shot to capture that metaverse niche this cycle. And just overall, with the racing game, the shooting game, the open world, it was just incredible to see. And there was huge developments across other projects. MapleStory, Pixelmon, Ronin was doing some pretty cool stuff out in Asia. It was awesome to see because the demographic and the really the things that people are interested in. You know, Token 2049 back in April in Dubai, I kept hearing about memes. People weren't gravitating as much towards gaming. And I feel like it was also off the heels of a really toxic gaming run where it was Portal, Mavia, Pixels. And then we really were, market was rough in April. People were not hyper focused on gaming. We didn't have the proof of concepts out there like a Super Champs or an Off the Grid, etc., to give us that conviction in the market right now. But now we're seeing these things and how it actually functions. And you could see the long-term vision, and Gunzilla with their L1 blockchain, with Super Champs bringing their own blockchain built on Base, with all these different projects doing great things now. I think that gaming really is gearing up for a big run. Coming off the heels of this, there's no real new projects that I have conviction in. It's the same thing. I think 𝗖𝗢𝗡 is about to really ramp up as far as their AI jam and Seed World coming out. So as far as like lower market cap stuff, I mean, Crown, 𝗖𝗢𝗡, Wilder World, Carrot, big pump today, so I wouldn't be chasing that. I think Polis from Star Atlas is still a really good position to jump into. Mike Wagner and the team were over at Breakpoint. They were displaying some of their new developments, and that team's just been maneuvering the space correctly for such a long time. And then up at the top level, I would keep it simple, or as they say, keep it simple, stupid. IMX, Ronin, Super, Prime, Beam. I also had the chance to meet the Beam team for the first time, Mark from Merit Circle Beam. And yeah, it's just awesome to kind of put these things together and kind of hear some of the things going on behind the scenes. And that's the value from these conferences. And I always tell you guys, I like to talk to teams. When I invest in a coin, I want to know what's going on behind the scenes and just see the vision. I want to see the execution, the roadmap, what people have planned. And I come away from this trip with more conviction than ever in the crypto gaming space, as well as my top plays. It's still not at the point of the market where we're about to filter down into low market cap stuff. If I'm going to be jumping into a low cap, I've said it for quite some time now, I would be looking at Moon Tropica, $23 million market cap. And then I would say WAGMI. Now, where's WAGMI Games at on here? Making a nice move this month so far. This one does do really well when the market is hot, so I would be looking at that. And I think Citus/Synnet do make a big comeback. If you want a little more of a degen level token type of a play, you could filter down into those. However, I'm still in my top bags. It is not the time to start rotating down. We need this to continue into October and into the election season. But I think that this is really the front end of an explosive Q4. Is this going to be the top of the bull market type of explosive? I don't think so. I still think we're about a year away from the overall top. However, I think that this 3-month time period is going to be great. I think that the incumbent in office, the Democrats, have no choice but to potentially stimulate the market a little bit. And, markets have ran over the last 3 cycles before this around this time period. So I don't know that this is going to be any different. And I'm preparing for a really good Q4. And you should be too. Make sure you have your bags packed across your crypto gaming plays, AI, your top memes. Cut the fat out of your portfolio, consolidate into the strength during these time periods, and really focus on that. Like Super was pumping hard when the market wasn't. That is strength. 𝗂𝗧 does the same thing. That is big time strength. Avalanche up 17% this week, heading towards $30. We gave you this as one of our top trades at $20 when off the grid. And a big shout out. The 3 trades we gave there were Beam, AVAX, and Super. AVAX and Super have absolutely gone crazy since then. It's like a 35% gain on Avalanche since that time. I think it would be, from $20. And then we're taking a look here at Super. This has been the best trade for the last matter of time. Like, it got down here to about 42 cents, over a 2x since those lows. And we called it around that area. So a big shout out to anyone who got involved there. And honestly, like I said, my takeaways from Asia and Singapore is that gaming is way closer than you think. And I think the narrative is going to be way more explosive than you can even imagine heading into Q4, but overall, the rest of this bull market. So guys, like the video down below. Next time you see me, I will be back in my lab, my studio, to be able to give you guys top-notch content. I know video, audio-wise, it might not be perfect today, but we have to deliver you content. The market's heating up, and it's the time. The time is now. I think that the thumbnail says, and I definitely think that. So guys, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. As always, play well, my friends.